Hey guys, today we're working on this 2001 Ford E250. Lately the blower motor has been making a little bit of noise, but it finally bit the dust now that it's 95 degrees out. So let's fix it. We're going to start by popping the hood. And before removing everything, we decided to make sure that the blower motor is actually receiving power. To do this, I unplugged the connector from the blower motor and used a voltmeter to test while the air was turned on with the fan speed on high. The blower motor connector was receiving 12 to 13 volts, so the blower motor should have been working, but it wasn't. This verifies that the blower motor is bad, so I'm going to show you how to remove it. First, I'm going to remove the negative battery terminal with a 10mm socket. Then remove the positive. You can use an 8mm socket to loosen this battery mount. With the battery mount loosened, you can remove the battery. An additional test that we did was to remove the plug from the motor and use some jumper wires from the battery to apply power to the motor. When we did this, the motor didn't work, so the motor is definitely bad. If the motor does work whenever you apply power to it, it's most likely a bad fuse or a resistor pack. The resistor pack is located down here if you need to replace that, and that controls the fan speeds. If that goes bad, then there can be all kinds of speed problems or motor operation problems. Because our motor was bad, we're going to go ahead and remove these 8mm screws. There's 4 of them around the backing plate of the motor. Now we're removing the battery tray using a 13mm socket. With these removed, you can pull out the battery tray. And now you can get easier access to the bottom corner screw. Now you remove this vent duct to the motor. Now in order to remove the motor, we need to unscrew the 3 10mm bolts holding this dryer on. My lower screw is stuck, so I used some PB Blaster in order to loosen it up. Now that you have the evaporator unscrewed, you're able to rotate the fan into the hot spot, and then you can pull it out. You just need to wiggle the dryer out of the way, and the fan can slide by. Our new motor didn't come with a fan basket, so we're going to remove this retaining clip in order to use it on our new motor. You're just going to pry up evenly on each side and slowly rotate it. After a while, you'll be able to slide it off. Now work the fan side to side and use a wire brush to remove some debris from the motor shaft, and it'll eventually wiggle off of there. We're using a new motor from AutoZone. This is a Continental. There's a part number. You can slide the fan blade on, then install the retaining clip. And I put that on backwards. I was finally able to work that clip off, and now we can put the fan on in the right direction. Now I just slide on this clip and use a socket in order to fully seat it. Now it's ready to go back in the van. Before you put the fan back on, make sure you install this gasket in order to seal off the air. Once you have your gasket on, you can slide it by the dryer like you took it off with the flat spot near the dryer. Then line up the holes on the gasket and the guide pin on the blower housing and start the screws. Now screw these screws in, but be careful not to over tighten them because they're going into plastic and they're easy to strip. Reinstall the vent to the motor. This other end just slides into the housing. Now we connect the motor power wire. And I use this battery jump pack in order to hook the positive and negative leads just to turn the car in accessory mode and test that the fan works. Now that we know it works, we can remount our dryer with the 3 10mm screws. And we can reinstall our battery tray. Here we're using the 2 13mm bolts to secure it. Then we can reinstall our battery. Make sure it's seated fully into the battery mount. Then use the 8mm socket to lock in the battery. Now we're putting back on our positive battery terminal using a 10mm socket. And reconnect the negative terminal using a 10mm also. That's all it takes to replace the AC blower motor on a 2001 Ford E250. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.